What's up, YouTube? Today I'm going to show you how to remove a clutch to get to the oil pump on your Echo 4510. First off, you want to start off by taking the tensioner plate off and the bar and chain if you have one on there. Of course, I've already got mine removed. I like to keep all bolts and nuts with the parts that they go to. I just lay them to the side. And then you want to come over to the pull rope starter cover and take it off. It takes a T27 Torx bit. It'll have four screws that hold it. One of those is part of the chain brake up here at the top, which is no problem. You don't have to take the chain brake all the way off. You just remove this all the way out, and you'll have a little cup that sits inside of there. Take these on to the side. Ever so lightly pull out on this chain brake. And you can slide that cover out from underneath it. And you'll be able to view your flywheel. Alright. So, once you do that, I'm using a scrunch. I'm just laying it on my workbench here at one of the fins. Or there's a groove where your keyways are for your starter cord. You can lay it in there, and you'll take a socket. You can buy the socket on Amazon or your dealer of choice. I chose to make my socket. I made it out of a 1 1/16 regular socket that I had laying around. I had two of them. I just laid it up on the clutch of the saw and took a marker and marked out where I needed to leave these 3 keyways to fit. On most clutch on the saw, they're reverse threaded. So if you're loosening, it'll actually be tightening, and if you're tightening, it'll be loosening. You just take this, get it in your slots. Give it a couple whacks, and then you can hand spin it the rest of the way. And just set it to the side. Then you'll have a flat washer, and I set it as it came off. That way you don't get confused on which way everything come off. You'll have this cup. It'll have a set of bearings, roller bearings in it that looks like this. I just leave it in there so they don't fall out, and then I set it to the side. Okay, then you're going to have this black plastic cover. It takes a Torx bit as well. Loosen it. It looks just like that. Now you're down to your oiler. Your oiler has 2 Torx screws in them as well. Take loosen those up. Now you're ready to remove this. It has 2 lines, one that oils the bar and one that feeds from the actual oil tank. They're set in grooves, and you'll need to take a small screwdriver and just pop those loose. Be careful not to puncture or stab them, or you'll be leaking oil before you get to your bar. All right, and it's ready to come off. I'm going to take this off. It's the gear that drives your drum or bell, and it has a set of threads in it. You'll have to stretch that oiler off the shaft. This is the set of threads. It sits in this. This has grooves on the back side that this sits in, and it locks in. When you get it right, it'll be like one piece, no gap. If you don't have it right, it'll have a gap like that. And I set it to the side at the back. Alright, so now we're down to the oiler. Up at the top, it has this block that actually feeds, and I'm going to slide it out. It's just a rubber block with a plastic insert, and I'm going to put it back on the top line just so it doesn't get lost. You push it back to the stop. It's got a stop on it. Now, the line from your oiler tank, it has a spring clip that holds it on, kind of like a hose clamp for a radiator hose. I'm going to take my flat screwdriver and I'm just going to slide it back, because I found that there wasn't really anything that you could use to spread it open with, and it's not terribly tight. So, and you'll want to slide that to the end so it doesn't slide down in that groove, because it's a booger to get back out. Now your oiler is off, and once you get your new one, to reassemble it, you will first put on the bottom line. Slide it on there, then take your flat screwdriver and slide your pin, the keeper clamp, back to where it goes. There will be a little indentation in the hose that you can see, and it'll look like that right there. Okay. Then, like I say, you'll have to pull that just ever so slightly, not much, and get it set back in place. And it'll set in and clip in like that. And once you get it like that, you take and you work this hose back in and get this block back in its groove, slide it in, and then push the rest of your line in. Alright, so now you're ready to install the screws back in. I use the impact gun to get them started, just because it's a little faster. But I don't use it to tighten them up all the way, because some of this is plastic or thinner like metal, and I don't want to strip them out. You don't have to tighten them up like it owes you money or anything. Snug them up pretty good, and then I'm going to reinstall the gear driver for the bell, and this, it just slides in there. Like I say, if it's sticking out to where there's a gap, then you don't have tight enough. It should be riding pretty well in there. Now we're back to the plastic cover that protects the oiler lines. You'll place it. It has a little keeper on the back with a little stud. You'll set it on there. And there's a little groove right there that'll lock into. Maybe easier to start the screw. And then you'll hear it pop. You'll hear it clip in, and when it's clipped in, it'll be sitting in there in that groove, like so. And then you can take your torch wrench and just tighten it up. That's good enough. All right, now we're back to this drum. Put the drum on just like it came off. Like say you got your wrist pins. Be careful to, when you pick this up, if you leave them in here, that they don't fly out. I'll slide it on here, and these little teeth here is where this sprocket fits in there. So you'll slide it on there, get everything in line. I'll just take my little screwdriver and hold the back side and spin the drum till it slides into place. Everything will be spinning as one. And then you get your flat washer. It should have wear marks from where the clutch has rode on it, which I don't guess it really matters which way you put that. And if that little bearing is protruding any, this flat washer should put it down where it needs to be. And like I say, this is reverse thread, so to tighten it on, you'll have to actually be backing it off with a regular bolt or screw. And then put your impact in reverse, line it up, put it in there. And just tighten like that. When you go to tighten this, if you feel like you don't have it tight enough or you're not really sure how tight you're supposed to get it, the reason why they're reverse threaded is because they tighten themselves as it spins, in a sense. Your shaft's going this way and tightening is this way. So when you put your chain and bar back on there, install it, get everything going, go to start your saw up, just hit your brake and give it a couple pumps on the throttle, and that should tighten your clutch up how that it needs to be tightened up to where you don't have to worry about it flying off or anything. And then you reinstall your bar and chain. This over on the side, I can see something. Get them started. And then you can finish tightening them up all the way. And then when you go to put your cover back on, just pull this out just a little bit, slide it up in there. Get this kind of set where it goes, and give your handle a little bit of a spin to get it set back to the keys that actually flip out and catch this. Don't forget your little cup. That goes on the chain brake. And then you've got 4 screws for this to reinstall. Like I said, I just start out easy just to get them started and snug. And I'll take this and tighten on my hand the rest of the way, just to be sure not to strip them out. And then your pull rope is reinstalled. And that's how you take the clutch off and the oiler off and reinstall it. If you like what you see, like, subscribe, hit the bell, give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. If you have any more questions, leave them in the comments. Thanks and God bless.